Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. In this episode I will talk about delegates and what are delegates. I want you to have a very good understanding of delegates before we continue code refactoring, because in next video I will use delegates and I want you to know what is going on. Now, by definition, a delegate is a pointer to a method in memory. What does it mean is that when we define a delegate, we are not actually making a new method, but we are telling the system that, hey, we have an alias for a method somewhere. When we are calling this alias, go find the original method, run it, and return the result. So, how we define a delegate? By the way, this is a new project, this is empty, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just an empty project with one delegate, and it's just that. Okay, so if you come here and take a look, general delegates are most of the time being defined outside of classes. You can have a delegate inside the class, but it will be tightly bound to this class. Normally, delegates themselves are sitting outside of the classes. So let's see how we can use it. I will comment this guy and comment everything else. Let's delete everything actually, so that I start from scratch. Bam, delete that. Okay, so we have a delegate. This delegate returns void and accepts no parameter. So I can say private test, that is our delegate, test delegate. Okay, and now I need a method. For example, I can have a private void test run that simply says debug.log. This is a test by delegate. Okay, remember the structure, both the return type and the parameters should be the same. Now on start, I can say test delegate equals to our test run. Okay, and I can say test delegate and run it like any other normal method. If I come back to Unity and let it recompile the code, if I run it, you get the message. This is a test by delegate. Now, here is the interesting part. What if I add it one more time? So if I say test delegate plus equal, and then plus equal. Now, you may think that, hey, it will only run once because I add the same pointer. But remember, it behaves like a collection. It's not a collection, but it behaves like a collection. So if I come back to Unity and I'm not collapsing the messages and play, we get 2 times. So we add 2 pointers to the same method. Remember, nothing like threading is happening. It's just running that pointer once, then the next pointer once. So if you want to have something like this instead of here in update, and only want to have this to happen once, it's a good practice to minus first and then plus. Now, you may say, hey, at the first time, the test delegate has nothing. It's empty. Wouldn't this line cause an error? No. Delegates are smart enough to know that, hey, I'm empty, so minus something, ignore it, basically. Don't throw exceptions. Don't throw null pointers. Don't throw any errors. Just ignore this line, continue on. But if I had this pointer, I will remove the last copy of it. Remember, the last copy of it. Meaning that if I had it 2 times, when I hit this line of code, I will remove this one. Okay? But the first instance will be still there. So only if I have this, I will have 1 copy. And that's something that you need to remember. So if I save it, coming back to Unity, and clear, you see that I'm just running, but once per, basically, let's clear and that, once per update, okay? Now, not you, come on, go down, you, and you. If I comment this guy, take a look at what will happen. And why did I build habit? So, okay, here. What do you think will happen? Let's take a look. Take a look at these numbers. You see that it's exponentially getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because, and yeah, Unity is bugging me now. The reason is that in each update, I'm adding more pointers without removing any pointers. So good habit, good practice. If you want a delegate to be added once, just remove it and then add it. Now, these are delegates in a nutshell. We can have parameters like string message, okay? And then if I accept a string message, and I just debug the message, I can say that test delegate, and because I'm doing it on start, that's okay. Test delegate is equals to test run. But when I want to invoke it, that is when I say test delegate run. Now I need a parameter like test. Okay? And basically, this is how you send in your parameters. Now, if I go back and hit play, I just get it once. Okay? Also, delegates can return something like Boolean. And you see that right now I have an error because my return type is void. But if I convert it to Boolean, and at the end I'll return true, that satisfies my delegate now. Okay? Other than this type of general delegate, we have 2 more special types, and I want to talk about them. One is called func. So func is a delegate, but a very special delegate. The last parameter in func is the return type. Okay, so it can be void, it can't be void. There is a special case if you want to return void, and we will talk it. But you have to return something here. Okay, null is not acceptable either. So null, it's not acceptable. It gives error. So you have to return some type, and then we call it something like, I don't know, boo. Okay, and you check if it's null, won't be correct. If we send void as return type, it won't be acceptable. So void func always need to have a return type, okay? But that's not the only thing. If I send in like this, string, comma, bool, everything, the last one is the return type. Everything before it are parameters. So for example, now I need to have a private test run that returns a boolean and accept a string as parameter, okay? And return true. And I can do whatever we want with that parameter. Now I can say that boo plus equal to test run. And when we want to run it, we send in the blah. So you may say that, hey, this is like a delegate. Well, basically, what we have here is like saying that a public delegate that returns a boolean something that accepts a string. This is the same concept, you know, string f. This is the same concept. So we have this. This is the same thing. Just a shortcut that we have in Visual Studio. And func can have up to 16 parameters plus one return type. Crazy, but it's possible. So the next delegate is action. Action is a delegate that returns void. Okay? It's a return type, a void. So that. Also, in this action that I have right now, I don't accept any parameters. So that. Now I can say fk plus equals to our test run. And then I can invoke fk, you know, like any other row. Come on. fk invoke. Like any other method. Or I can say my action accepts a string. Then here I should accept a string parameter. And I need to send a string parameter. Okay? So actions, func, and delegate are basically working hand in hand. Sometimes you need a shortcut, you use action or func, or you have a very useful delegate that you want to use everywhere you use delegates. Don't forget, when I'm doing this line, fk plus equals something, I'm not, and I repeat it, I'm not duplicating this method in memory. I'm just adding a pointer to it in memory. And that is something you need to remember, okay? And basically that is delegates. Anything else to talk about delegates? One more thing. Functions can't accept reference types. You see that it gives error. So if you want to have an action with reference type, you need to have your own custom delegates. That's critical to understand, okay? That's the last thing I wanted to talk. If you want to know more about delegates, there are a bunch of video tutorials all around on YouTube. MSDN has nice tutorials as text. There are a bunch of texts out there about this. Basically, delegates are very popular, very lovely. Everyone uses them and everyone teaches you about it. I just wanted to give you a brief explanation of delegates. One more thing. I totally forgot about this one. What if I don't have a method but want to give you an anonymous method? I can totally do this. Lambda. You know? that accepts blah. Anonymous method. A delegate of that, and I can say blah. Now it should work. Nope. That won't work. Anyway, yeah, that's how. No, come on. Delete, delete, delete. Goes into fk equals to, I totally forgot an action with a string. Let's get it without a string, without any of that. There we go. Action with something like, I don't know, whatever you want to do, then I can simply invoke it. Okay? And it will invoke an anonymous method. I just forgot how can I send in with parameters. If we have a string with a string, let me double check it very fast, very easily. So delegate anonymous function anonymous with parameters. Lambda expressions. As I said, MSDN is a very good explanation for everything. So what is our test delegate? Accepts a string equals to something, goes into that. Okay. So not that. X goes into there, and then I can say D. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is how you send in parameters basically. So if I had a string comma float, I had to send X comma Y, and that's comma, and then I need to send a float like 3F. Okay, so that is how you send anonymous delegates. Remember, I'm right now using action. You can use function, you can use delegate, and you can assign no basically thing. So we can say debug.log the X, okay, plus dash plus Y, okay. And if I come back, I should get D-3. Let's see if that is the case. So let it build, clear, run, D-3, okay? But I'm not having any method. I'm just sending in an anonymous method to a delegate. Now remember, this can be as complex as you want without making any methods for this guy. And that was the last thing I wanted on delegates. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this episode had taught you a little bit about delegates. We will use delegates in next episode. So until then, have fun everyone. Bye-bye.